you rabid Lions fans, and welcome to Lions on the Prowl. News, rumors, and debates from the fans' perspective. Here's Jim and Tim.
Hey everybody, welcome to Lions on the Prowl, and I'm very happy to be putting out this video today. And there's a big question out there: should we trade for Jamal Adams? Jamal Adams is a safety. He's 24 years old. He's 6'1". He weighs 213 pounds. Doing this off the top of my head, so you know how that goes. He's a better strong safety than he is a free safety. He hits the quarterback, actually. He makes a lot of tackles, 210 solo tackles in his career on 46 games. He's only played 3 years, so I think he's going to be his potential is really, really high. That being said, they want a first and a third round pick for him. And he's listed 7 teams that he wants to be with, and the Lions aren't one of those teams. I wonder if it's another situation like Snacks Harrison, where we trade for somebody and they're not happy here and they don't play up to their potential because they want to leave. The danger in this is giving up a first and a third round pick that could become starters, although our track record isn't the greatest, let me be honest. But to trade that draft capital for a really, really good, probably blue chip player seems like it would be okay. But unfortunately, this is Detroit, and some people just don't want to come here. And it's not an issue for me that I think that it's Patricia or all this, and I think that's part of it. But I also think that Detroit as a city, cold weather, you know, just the overall perception of us is not that great. And so it's a terrible situation. I think the Pistons go through the same thing, where it's free agents or trades or stuff like that people just generally want to get out. Although there's been people that love Detroit. Nate Burleson's one of those guys who's stuck around afterwards. And TJ Lang is still sticking around the area. And, you know, sometimes it really makes a big impression on people, you know, when they actually live here, when they actually come and see what it's really like and the fans are really like. They do fall in love with it, and they do stay. But to get people here, it is difficult. So we sometimes overpay players just to get them. In this case, since I still feel like this is a make or break year, if Patricia and Quinn wanted to do this, I think they would, because they don't have the repercussions next year if they're not here. It doesn't matter if they trade for him, if they think it's going to improve the defense that much. If this is the tipping point they feel like, then I think they'll do it. Do I think they should do it? That's a different conversation. So if we look at Patricia and Quinn's situation, the mandate, the get to the playoffs or bust or whatever, or be in contention for the playoffs. If this team tanks, they don't even have to worry about anything next year. So they would trade a first round, third round, doesn't matter. I'm hoping they see this as a long-term thing. I really do, because if they don't, they could make a mistake. And what am I talking about? We traded a 5th round pick for Snacks Harrison, which I feel like was a steal. I really do. I feel like that was a good trade. But Snacks ended up not wanting to be here. His production went way down. His desire to leave the team went way up, and he was going to retire rather than stay here. This is not going to happen with this guy, but if you want to leave bad enough, look at Antonio Brown. Did the same thing with the Raiders. If your production's terrible, if you start playing awful, this is exactly what happens. So I don't want to see this happen right now. I think our safeties are okay. I mean, we do have Tracy Walker. It just doesn't seem like this is a position of need. If this was a defensive tackle or a pass rusher, maybe, yeah, I would go for it. I probably would, because I think that would make the big difference in the team. But in Patricia's defense, he does like to bring safeties in pass rush out on blitz if he blitzes, which that doesn't happen often. I understand the point. But I think Jamal Adams at this point for the Lions would not work out. I just don't think so. He doesn't have us listed on his, 7 dream destinations or whatever. And I could see the same situation playing out with Snacks that might play out with him. But the price tag is so much higher. We give up our first this year, and we give up our third, or next year coming up, and we give up our third. What if it's a disaster? What if this thing completely implodes and we get the first to third overall pick? Are we going to give up maybe getting a Trevor Lawrence or, somebody next year that could really help this team, blue chip player, to have a player that may not want to stay here? And it could be that if we draft somebody that may not want to stay here either. That's devil's advocate, of course. But I think that really we really need to look at from now on, because of the Snack situation, because of a lot of the players that have left here that have been disgruntled, especially under Patricia, we have to look at it and say, is the price worth what we're getting? Are we getting the Jamal Adams, or would we be getting the Jamal Adams that has been for the last 3 years? The great player that he's been? I don't know. I really don't know. And because I have that doubt, and I also think that the Lions may have to overpay. There's 7 other teams that he actually wants to go to. And if the Jets are going to trade him, then they would probably negotiate with those teams first, which means the Lions may have to give up more to actually persuade them to trade him to us. So it's a whole situation of ifs and whats and then. But would I love to have him on the team? I would if he wants to be here. If he doesn't want to be here, no, not at all. I think this trade would be a mistake. I really do. And I know that's kind of probably not popular, but just for the reasons I said. It's not because of the player. It's not because of, it's just because of the situation in Detroit. Is Matt Patricia, is this guy a Matt Patricia kind of guy? We don't know that. Are we willing to give up a first and a third for a guy that may not even be a Matt Patricia guy? Really got to consider what we do carefully, because we're really good at making mistakes. Really, really good. So with that being said, what do you think? Guys, I want you to go in the comments and tell me what you think. What do you think about this situation? If you could trade for Jamal Adams and you were going to give up a first and a second, or a first and a third, or first and, third and fifth, something like that, would you do it? And do you think it's a wise move, given the fact that he hasn't named us as a destination of choice for him? But I just want to see what you said, and you're saying in the comments. And I wanted to say this too. I really appreciate everybody that rocks with Lions on the Prowl, the DSA, all my friends out there that talk football, Micro Mike, all the people that are putting out content like Everything King, Dose of Dion, Hook Cam, our new DSA members, Right or Wrong, and Evan. And you guys are tremendous. You guys are all family to me, man. The DSA is family, and I really appreciate everybody that is supporting us and rocking with us and having a great time, like we had a great time the other round table. It was just so much fun, guys, because the real world out there gets a little rough, and I love to just talk Lions football so that we can get out of all that stuff. So if you like the video and you want me to put out more content like this, just hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to all the DSA members. Are located right below, so you have no trouble. Just one click and you can go down the little list there and subscribe to every member. It helps out everybody, and we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to put out Lions content, and we're all trying to support this team. And so I really, really appreciate you stopping by, and you have a wonderful day. I'm out.